Hi, everyone, and welcome to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the entrepreneur who owns one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, with my co-host, Don Johnson. And if you've ever dreamed of owning your own business, then you've come to the right place. We have a great show today. We're meeting with Ryan Zink, the president of Complete Nutrition. And founded in 2004, Complete Nutrition is an upscale nutritional supplement store that features weight loss and sports nutrition products in a spacious, open, and orderly setting. And that's coming up in segment 2 of Franchise Interviews. So stick around because we got a great show.
Are you one of those special people who are willing to go after your dreams and goals? Are you ready to fulfill that dream of owning your own business with the security of a proven brand? The opportunity to take control of your future and own a Rita's Italian Ice franchise is within your reach.
Rita's is seeking success-oriented individuals who are ready to make a change in their life, and Rita's offers unparalleled training and support to assure your success. And did you know the frozen treat industry is a recession-proof industry, and there are Rita's in 23 states currently with 540 stores open. Rita's Italian Ice has been around for 25 years and is listed as a top-performing franchise by the Wall Street Journal.
Now here's the really good part. Rita's Italian Ice is a unique and amazing taste treat. It's smoother than a snow cone, and it combines ice with real fresh fruit. The real fruit adds dramatically to the taste, and it comes in over 40 flavors. The ice and fruit are mixed on site and made fresh daily, and it is delicious.
You'll want to know more about this exciting and successful franchise opportunity. Go to www.ownaritas.com and get all your questions answered. That's www.ownaritas.com to take control of your dreams and future today. You don't want to wait any longer to be a part of this adventure. www.ownaritas.com.
Who's helping build America one small business at a time? Franchise Inc., a free consulting service.
For years, Franchise Inc., a national company, has been helping people franchise their business concept and help folks like you own a franchise.
With over 2,500 franchise systems out there, it can be awfully confusing. Don't take chances with your future. At Franchise Inc., we've done the homework for you. We can help match your interests and background with the franchise that's right for you. And we only work with proven franchise systems with a solid reputation and track record of success.
The consultants at Franchise Inc. can help you with your short and long-term wealth strategy.
Give us a call today and we'll send you free our best-selling book, Solving the Puzzle of Owning a Franchise.
Remember, it's not just owning a franchise, but finding the right one for you. Call us at 800-961-0420 for a quick consultation to discuss what's important to you, your business, and your future.
The service is free. The book is free. What do you have to lose? Find the business that's right for you.
Call Franchise Inc. at 800-961-0420. That's Franchise Inc. at 800-961-0420.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the entrepreneur who owns one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, with my co-host, Don Johnson. And if you've ever dreamed of owning your own business, you've come to the right place. And today's show is being brought to you by Franchise Times Magazine. Franchise Times is the only publication that targets both franchisors and multi-unit franchisees, and is a must-read for anyone looking to buy a franchise. How you doing today, Don? Welcome back.
I'm doing fine today, Marty. How are you this week?
Good. Well, it's good weekend. You know, it's hard to imagine that we just celebrated Memorial Day, you know, and
right.
Here we are. My son's actually getting ready to go to the pool today, so
right.
So what a good life, huh?
I don't think it's officially summer, but usually,
No.
you know, once you pass this weekend, it's really, you know, the summer now, so that's great.
Right, exactly. The pools are open, you know, so it's
Yeah.
you know, barbecues and all that other stuff, you know. So
We had nice
yeah,
weather,
absolutely.
it was a good time, and good to get back to work.
Absolutely. The show snuck up on us this week, though, didn't it? I mean, having that day off, on Monday, it just kind of really came out of nowhere. So it seems like we just did our last show, which was with Nick Vojnovic, president of Beef O'Brady's. And if you missed the show, Beef O'Brady's is a fast-growing national chain of family sports pubs that achieves its success by building relationships with local schools, youth sport leagues, and other community organizations in each and every Beef O'Brady's neighborhood. I thought it was a great show. It's funny that the name implies beef, but they're actually best known for their, buffalo-style chicken wings, is what Nick was saying, which is kind of interesting, What were your thoughts on last week?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was interesting. There's so many food franchises. It's always interesting to see how they distinguish themselves in the market. What's their niche? I mean, they have over 250 locations. Yeah. And, I mean, they, with anything in business, there's a lot of competition. I thought it was interesting. I guess, some of the places they're going to start targeting to put in Beef O'Brady's, like on country clubs and universities, hotels, non-traditional type places, which I think is a good idea. And I guess they really want to take advantage of social media when we asked them about the technology role in the business. And he had a similar background to me, being in hotel restaurant management is what I went through school for. He went to a top school that does that. So, it looks like he, Beef O'Brady's has the right guy with them right now.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a real likable guy. He just had a good personality. I've been following Beef O'Brady's for a long time, Don, and just very impressed with their company. We used to have an office, I mentioned to you, down in Florida, and I became familiar with them back then. And it's just amazing to watch the growth, in that decade of time. And as you say, they're planning on some different things. I would like to keep our eye on them over the next year and see how some of these new concepts, or these new locations, I should say, work out. So
yeah, we have won a lot of franchises in the past 3+ years that aren't quite up in our neck of the woods yet. So I imagine we'll start seeing the wave of some of these food franchises and other types of services because they're successful, I guess, with Beef O'Brady's, where they mostly down the southern part of the country, southeast, southwest. Imagine it's a matter of time before they head up this way.
What did you think about the Beef O'Brady Bowl? It was it was coincidental. My mother-in-law was here that day we did the show, and they're big, diehard Rutgers fans, and they never heard of Beef O'Brady's. Being up from the New Jersey area, we don't have any up here yet, And I thought it's a great promotional for the company because Nick was saying a lot of people went to the website, beefobradys.com, and researched the company. They got like a tremendous amount of hits that day. I thought it was kind of interesting. I said, maybe we should be doing our own bowl, huh?
Yeah. It's a good idea. That was a good call on your part to remember that. I'm a Rutgers fan. I just forgot that was the affiliation with the bowl. But, the college bowl games are huge, and I don't know what type of cost there's associated with sponsoring that, but it sounded like they were happy and it worked out for them.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, especially, when it's from, like let's say, a football team from another part of the country, and you're not used to seeing that particular business. I thought it was a great promotional for Beef O'Brady's,
Right.
So, I thought Nick made a very good call on that, So, again, it seems like they're a fantastic franchise. I'd like to keep our eye on them. We'll have them back sometime next year. We'll watch how some of these new locations work out for them. And if it works, chances are it might work someplace else, and you might get the competitors starting to do the same thing. This franchising could be very, very competitive. A lot of these other companies spying on each other, and see what works and what doesn't work, and all that other stuff. So there's a lot of benefits of franchising. So it was a good show. So what do we got going on today, Don? I know we have another interesting show today, don't we?
Yes, Ryan Zink, president of Complete Nutrition, will be on today.
Yeah.
They were founded,
I guess. A lot of these concepts on this show yet, I think, in the 4 years we've been doing the show either, have we?
Right. No, I don't think so.
So this should be interesting for our archive. So, again, looking forward to having Ryan on the show today.
Yeah.
And I know you had an interesting article, too, that we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, here's something, Marty, from Samantha Christman. Franchising widens appeal. Beyond the fast food, untraditional options present opportunities. This is through Buffalo News. Think franchise opportunities are limited to fast food chains? Think again. Sure, the traditional fast food favorites are still going strong, but some interesting alternatives are popping up as well. I like to read these type of stories because, a lot of people are listening and thinking, what franchise should I get into? And when you think of franchise, you automatically think food. But as we've discussed on the show the last 3+ years, there's upwards of 3,000 franchises, over 80 industries. There's a lot of successful franchises in categories other than food. Growth in franchises started to peter out in 2008 after growing by more than 40% since 2001. But as more and more people are squeezed out of the workforce, as the economy struggles to recover from the recession, they are turning to franchises as a way to gain more control. The International Franchise Association predicts 2% growth for 2010. Well, that's great, and any growth is good with what's
Any
going on
growth is good, yeah, especially in these times, sure.
With the largest growth in what some might consider unconventional franchise industries. Thanks to an aging baby boomer population, opportunities in elder care abound with such franchises as Comfort Keepers, Home Helpers, Home Watch. We've had at least 6 or 7 of these franchises on over the years that specialize in senior care. With the senior care market, it's all about numbers, and the numbers don't lie, says Joel Labava, also known as the Franchise King, franchising consultant and founder of Franchise Selection Specialist. The number of people who will need medical and non-medical help continues to grow. That's an attractive proposition for entrepreneurs looking for market security. But it's not why Lisa and Eric Weideman got into the business about 6 years ago. Lisa was an occupational therapist and long-distance caregiver for a mother with Parkinson's disease. Husband Eric was a psychologist. They bought a home instead senior care franchise, one of over 800, which gives senior citizens at-home assistance with personal and household care. The startup cost is under $100,000. It's a labor of love for us, he says. My career has been with the elderly since I was in high school, said Lisa Weideman. It's amazing to me that people think they can pop up and do it just because it's a moneymaker. She brings up a good point there. People think automatically franchising, it's automatic money, it's going to be easy, but bottom line, it's a business. You gotta work it hard. You gotta like what you do. It's usually any business. There's always going to be something about a franchise or your business you don't like. That's any industry, any business. But you definitely have to have a passion and like what you're doing. That's usually always a common theme and answer when we ask our guests on the show, Marty, what type of characteristics they want to see in some of their new franchisees or investors. They mentioned passion and being outgoing, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, even just a couple of weeks ago when we had the Yen from the How Do You Roll sushi franchise, I mean, he wanted somebody who was enthusiastic and passionate about sushi, which initially, might sound weird, but there's a lot of people out there that fit that criteria, and he said if you're not passionate about it, he really doesn't want you, in the system, So, yeah, I totally agree with that. It can't just be about money. That's not enough reason to go into it.
Right. It goes on. Weideman said it's a delicate process coordinating care for their many clients and finding, training, and maintaining their 80 employees. The business is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In the beginning, they regularly work 60 to 70 hours per week.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
common theme on the show, right, Don? Yeah,
right.
I mean, you've mentioned it on so many occasions, which is so important, not to scare our listeners, but just to let them know, yes, we are very pro-franchising, but first year, we've heard some very interesting stories about the first year, how challenging it was. You were telling a great story, it was about 3 weeks ago, on a gentleman who started, I don't know if you remember this, it was a Subway franchise, and here you are, it's like the Subway is like one of the top franchises in the world, and this guy was working 60, 80 hours a week, with the number one franchise system on the planet. So you say, okay, there's going to be some work involved, especially the first year is going to be difficult. So it's good.
He says here it's much more difficult, I think, than a product industry because it's all about people, she said. You have to be careful because you're going into people's homes and people are trusting you with their safety. On the flip side, Lababa said, folks who think that all they need is a big heart to make it with a home care franchise are sorely mistaken. They need to realize it's a sales business. The feel-good part of helping seniors is wonderful, but you're going to find that you really have to hustle. There's a ton of competition, a lot of cold calling, and relationship building. Good point.
Yeah, and that's where someone like Joel and franchise consultants really come in handy, Don. So it's a powerful quote, from Joel,
right,
saying that yes, you're going to have to get on the phone, you're going to have to get in people's faces, you're going to have to make presentations, and if you don't like doing that every single day, this isn't the business for you.
Right. It's a good point. That consultant will really tell you how it is and what you're going to be up against. Another unusual franchise opportunity born out of the country's aging population is AmRamp, the core business of which is installing modular wheelchair ramps.
Yeah.
AmRamp has since branched out into portable showers, freestanding patient lifters that help transport people who can't move on their own.
I heard of these guys, yeah. I mean, they would be kind of like even an interesting partnership because it kind of goes in sync with, the whole senior care industry, where you have people or certain types of senior care franchises taking care of the seniors. This is something a little different, isn't it? But yet
right,
kind of sort of still in the same industry. And that's what I'm noticing too, Don. I don't know if you remember, it was about maybe, it might have even been in the beginning of the year. Remember there was a franchise that actually transported, was it seniors from like
right,
one point to another point? I can't remember the name right now. It's on the tip of my tongue, and maybe I'll remember it during the show. But that was kind of similar. He was going after the senior market, but again, not so much senior care, but traveling or in the commuting, from point A to point B.
Right.
So I'm starting to notice that now, like new businesses targeting the senior care industry, not just senior care. So I'm interested in these guys.
Yeah. Greg Stone, Marty, bought into the franchise in 2004 for $60,000. I wore all the hats the first 2 years while my son finished high school, he said. In addition to getting the franchise off the ground, Stone continued to work third shift at his full-time job as a project manager for a cable company. It took 8 months of juggling both before he was able to generate enough sales to support his family. Now the company's established. His wife's been able to stay at home. His son is the company's lead installer. They employ another person. It's been controlled growth every year, Stone said. We've seen growth every year, and this year is not any different. Cruise One franchisees are finding clients in baby boomers who are enjoying their golden years in good health. Franchisees can buy in for as little as $5,000, running a cruise booking travel agency from home. Local owner
we've
Charles,
mentioned these guys before too.
Yeah. Charles Lease came to the business after retiring from a full career in law enforcement in the military. He and his wife, who's an English professor, began taking cruise vacations in '98 and were hooked. After booking their 20th cruise in 2003 with a Cruise One franchise, they decided to look into it. We decided if we didn't book anybody but us, we would break even.
That's pretty clever.
They booked their own trips. They were going on so many, they at least break even with the business.
Oh, that's funny.
The startup fees aren't nearly as high as with other franchises. Another cruise franchise, Cruise Planners, added 200 new franchises last year, despite a slow economy and startup cost of $10,000. It's incredible. They added 200 new franchisees last year, along with booking cruises for themselves at agent rates. The least had a ball booking cruises for others. They're in the process of booking a 40-person corporate cruise for a Buffalo beauty school. You meet people from all walks of life, literally, from rocket scientists to bricklayers, and everyone is just there to have fun, he said.
Yeah, and that's an interesting business, too. I never thought of it from that perspective, you know what I mean, is booking vacations for someone. I mean, that sounds like a fun business, doesn't it? I mean, if you think about it, it's pretty exciting, especially like that franchisee that we were mentioning, Don. I mean, he was someone who liked to take cruises, so he was probably very passionate and enthusiastic when he was talking to his prospective clients on the phone, I suspect, and that's why, something that you said is go back to something that you're passionate about, something that you're enthusiastic about, and that's going to show, and it's going to help when you're selling it, too.
It goes on in this article, Marty, home-based businesses have become very popular as entrepreneurs look for cost-effective franchise options. Randy Bolam owns the Erie Niagara County territory rights for Pillar to Post, a home inspection franchise headquartered in Toronto. Because his work happens on site, a home office with a computer and phone are sufficient. He inspects the houses on location, creates digital reports for clients using pillar-to-post software, and prints them immediately from a portable printer. He came from the construction background. So he had the inspection side of things down pat, but needed help with the other aspects of the business. So he paid a little under $20,000 apiece for the 2 franchise territories, financed with a small business loan, and continues to pay 11% of his commission for royalty and marketing fees. He said he's made money since his first month in business 10 years ago and considers it a wise investment. So he started making money right away. All the training, the technical support, the marketing, and I'm not sure I could have done this all as an independent and been successful, he said.
Yeah, and that's a question, a lot of times we'll ask the franchisee, we'll say, why did you take the franchise alternative? Why didn't you just start this thing on your own? And a lot of them will say the same thing. They'll say, I don't think I could have started it on my own. There was already a system established. There was a brand name established, and all that other stuff, training, which is, again, the advantage of going into a franchise.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. A few more numbers, Marty. This was IFA's Franchise Opportunities Guide. We mentioned this article. They're expecting a 2% growth in franchising for, I guess, the number of units. As far as employment, they're expecting a 0.4% increase. So I guess that's going to be natural. If there's an increase in the industry, you're going to have more overall employees in the franchise industry. And that'll account to a 2.8% output, I guess, in total sales. So
okay, that makes sense, yeah.
I guess, that's what the common theme has been with this terrible economy that we've gone through, that it's going to be slow growth, and it seems like that's the same with franchising. But definitely, because I'm in the industry every day, and I talk to many people around the country, many consultants, I've heard that definitely most people have more activity. They're speaking to more people who are thinking of going into franchising, and it seems like it's pretty much inevitable, because what are people to do when they've been downsized, they've been out of work a while, they've been out there trying to get a job, the unemployment rate is still very high. Some people probably have been holding off, trying, avoiding maybe having to buy their own business, because maybe they've never done it before. And maybe they're starting to realize that, maybe we have to now think about this. I can't get a job, or the jobs that I am able to get is so much paying lower than what I had. So what are the options? Do you partner with someone and buy an existing business, or do you start up a franchise? And
true. Yeah, and there's still a lot of great deals out there, too. A lot of times you mentioned them on segment 1, Don, a lot of the different franchise systems out there, offering some pretty attractive deals to new franchisees, whether it's, kind of like reducing the royalties or the franchise fee or whatever it may be. And we've also referenced landlords also giving some killer deals right now. As far as space, there's been some space, and I've seen spaces in places like Easton, been sitting there for like 2 years now, So I'm sure a landlord would kill to just give it to, like a franchise and say, here, take, the rest of the year for free, and then we'll start your lease up in January of 2010, So we've heard of stories like that as well. So, I mean, I think it's important. So, again, I think, like as you mentioned, the theme is that, there is growth. The growth has been slow, but at least there's growth. We're not declining or going backwards. So, I think that's a good thing. So, it's a great article, Don. It's a lot of important numbers in there. So, very good. And I see our guest Ryan is called in. So, why don't we do this, Don? We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
Okay, you've got my attention.
It's a rare event in the world of franchising when an opportunity comes your way that can and will thrive in almost any economic environment. It's here, and its name is Big Mouth Advertising.
Big Mouth.
BMA is a leader in the exciting world of mobile media advertising. Why is mobile media advertising able to defy the economic cycles? The answer is obvious. In times of economic weakness, advertising is crucial for survival as the consumer dollar is scarce and the competition fierce. What is mobile media? It's the newest and fastest growing segment in the advertising world. Mobile media brings the message directly to the consumer. Mobile media goes to the consumer in traffic, where he eats and where he plays. It quite simply cannot be turned off or thrown out. And when you join the Big Mouth team as a franchisee, you are joining the best. The Big Mouth advantage is simple and successful. We invest in a strong infrastructure and in great people. As a franchisee, you have access to this entire system, including telemarketing, sales maximization, general and administrative support, design and creative services, even billing and collection services. All you need is a mobile media vehicle, a driver, and the willingness to create a financially sound and limitless business for yourself. There are no long-term leases to sign, no expensive build-outs, no office personnel to hire. You will be part of the Big Mouth advertising community and share its entire website and reception services, as well as its complete back-office services. This virtual office guarantees you the freedom to close those sales that will make you a success. We are so proud of our successes that we have voluntarily disclosed our revenue statements. Now, how many other franchises are doing that? Even in these historically rough financial times, Big Mouth advertising has become a dominant force in the mobile media industry. Join the Big Mouth team and take the first step toward financial freedom. Please call Ron at 888-98-GO-BIG. That's 888-98-GO-BIG. Big Mouth! Need a business loan? Talk to Diamond Financial Services, the experts in franchise financing nationwide. Whether you're looking to start a franchise, acquire an existing franchise, or expand your territory through opening new locations, Diamond Financial stands by your side start to finish. From pre-qualification to packaging and presenting your application to securing a financial commitment and through the loan closing process, Diamond Financial is there. While you're waiting, thousands of others are making their financial dreams come true. Don't wait any longer. Pre-qualify now by completing a confidential, no-obligation financial analysis. Let's face it, traditional banks just aren't in the business of financing small business. At Diamond Financial, we specialize in securing franchise loans from $100,000 to $3 million and equipment leasing up to $150,000. Let us help you get started. Go to www.franchisefunding.net or call 877-508-2274. That's franchisefunding.net, 877-508-2274.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the entrepreneur who owns one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, with my co-host, Don Johnson. And if you ever dreamed of owning your own business, then you've come to the right place. And as we were saying earlier, Don, we have a great show today. We're meeting with Ryan Zink, who is the president of Complete Nutrition. And founded in 2004, Complete Nutrition is an upscale nutritional supplement store that features weight loss and sports nutrition products in a spacious, open, and orderly setting. Hey, Ryan, how you doing today?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Good, Ryan. Ryan, joining us is my co-host, Don Johnson, and I know, Don, you wanted to say good morning to Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan, we appreciate you coming on the show. My son's name is Ryan, so I like you already.
Well, I like you guys. I like you guys for allowing me to be on, so thank you guys as well.
Oh, it's our pleasure, Ryan. This is I think you're one of the first types of this industry to come on our show, and we've been doing it now almost 4 years, so it's really our pleasure. Ryan, what were you doing before joining Complete Nutrition? I know you have an interesting background.
Yep, we do. Actually, both Corey, my business partner, and myself have seen franchising from all angles. Previous to this, we owned a nutritional supplement company that wholesaled products to GNC stores and also many other retail stores throughout the country. But, we understand what it's like to be a supplier to a franchisee or a franchisor. So that's what we were doing before this. We sold that company in October 2008. When we really saw the writing on the wall that Complete Nutrition was on the brink of doing something big. So we wanted to quit spreading our focus, sold that company, and started focusing on Complete Nutrition.
That's
Great.
Was there something, Ryan, that you saw that GNC wasn't doing, or a couple of the retailers in that segment, which was the motivation for Complete Nutrition?
Absolutely. Actually, Corey, my business partner, was a previous GNC franchisee, and we got to see it from right in the middle of it. And one thing that we saw was many times many retailers have too many products on the shelves. It's very confusing or intimidating for a consumer to come in there. They almost need to be an expert before they walk in,
right,
because of the selection, or possibly because of the knowledge level of the person, the consultant there that's supposed to be helping them. So when we started Complete Nutrition, we really wanted it to be an unintimidating atmosphere. We wanted to limit the number of product offerings, where many of our competitors will be 3,000 to 4,000 products per store. We're going to have less than 1,000, actually more like 500 to 700. But we really go out and we research the ingredients and the products, and we make sure that we're recommending the best to our customers, as opposed to giving them 20 options that they may not know the difference between all of them.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's important. Yeah, I mean, I've had that experience too, Ryan, in going into stores like those GNCs, and you don't even know where to begin. It's totally overwhelming, for the novice, So, absolutely, I think that's fantastic.
And probably over 95% of the sales, maybe higher, just coming from those number of items that you're going to list anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, they are. We call the rest of them expensive wallpaper because they really just don't move throughout the year. There's not a demand for them, and
right.
The products we offer to our customers, we really want to go at them with a consultative approach. They come in for a reason. They have a goal in mind, and we want to make sure that we're meeting those needs. So we like to build entire solutions based on their needs, as opposed to trying to give them a one-pill wonder. For instance, if someone's looking to lose a little weight, we're going to offer them a program that really encompasses not only the thermogenic or the fat-burning product, but it's also going to encompass with the fish oils. It's going to help with stubborn body fat. It's going to incorporate protein smoothies for breakfast and for in-between meal snacks, and it's really going to talk about multivitamins and the importance of taking that. While our body's losing weight, we have to make sure that the vitamins and the minerals are staying high, so our body's healthy, and it allows us to lose weight.
Right.
This has always been a passion of yours, Ryan. It seems like you're healthy and take a lot of these supplements. Is that the case?
I do, yeah. And believe it or not, all of America is starting to take more supplements, and our professionals. I was at a conference called Expo East last month, and they were showing a lot of data about our doctors and our dietitians, personal trainers, and just the general public, and the percentages are rising in all categories for the number of those professionals that are taking nutritional supplements. And so this is, America has but they've really done a great job of understanding the importance of this in a healthy lifestyle, and the studies have shown that people will actually live healthier lives, longer lives, and we enjoy being part of that.
Right. So tell us a little bit how franchising started with the company, and when you started. Looks like you have some nice growth and some entrepreneurs really signing on with the franchise. Sounds pretty exciting.
It is exciting, and the most exciting part of it is the growth has been all organic. Believe it or not, we have still not spent a single dollar recruiting a franchisee yet.
Wow.
The way that it started was we actually, when Corey, my business partner, was a GNC franchisee, and we also had the NDS Nutritional Supplement Company, it was a little bit of a conflict of interest in being both a wholesaler of nutritional products and a franchisee. So, we decided that the best move was to sell those GNCs, and because we were under a franchise agreement, and to have a little bit more control, and so we could do more with the products that we were so confident in, and we decided to start Complete Nutrition locally here in Omaha, Nebraska. So we started 5 stores here locally, and we really wanted to test them out. So we started them in October 2004, and we tested them for 3 years, really working the kinks out, because the important thing about buying a franchise is you want to buy into a proven system. So we had to go and prove this system out first. We wanted to make sure that we had the right product mix, that we knew how to train our consultants, that we knew exactly what our marketing message should be, and how we could serve how we could provide what our customers were looking for. We made lots of mistakes in the beginning, and most businesses do, but once we really knew that we had this thing down and it was going to be a profitable business for our franchisees, we decided to open up the gates. And we did it slowly, and we started with previous employees of ours or previous relationships we had created through our other businesses. And we started with 3 franchises in 2008, or actually end of 2008, and they were very successful. Actually, much more successful than we even thought they would be. One thing that we didn't take into account was in Omaha, we had really kind of saturated the market with our GNCs being here for so long and our marketing message being similar for so long. When we took this concept to new markets, the communities really embraced it because it was something new. So our first franchisees had extreme success. And when the word got out about it, most of our previous relationships in our old business or old employees of ours came to us asking to franchise, and that's we didn't really turn the faucet on until the start of this year. End of last year, we had 15 locations open, and then we really we built a better corporate structure, and we brought more support people in, and we turned it on first of this year. And since then, we've opened 20 stores first part of this year. We're going to open 45 more before the end of the year. And we have, I haven't got the updated numbers yet, but I think we have between 110 and 120 locations agreed upon. So things have really happened fast here in the last 5 months.
That's incredible in a rough economy, in retail. Some of those early mistakes you mentioned earlier, those were mostly Corey's, right, not yours?
Yep, yeah, we'll go with that.
That's
story.
true. He's not here to defend himself. So, and it's interesting too, Ryan, that you mentioned about those mistakes, because I mean that's a great thing, because the franchisees don't have to make those same mistakes, do they? You know, I mean, you guys already made them. So once again, the advantage of going into a franchise.
Exactly right. We like to think that those royalties have been earned on our part through all the mistakes we've made. I mean, it took us a couple of years to tweak it and make it a very profitable business,
right.
but now we got it down.
And I'm fascinated that you're in a recession-resistant type of business. I mean, like any business, it's going to possibly suffer during these times, but this is people's health. So I buy vitamins. I mean, you still have to go out. I guess this is considered a small ticket type item. People are going to still take their things to be healthy. Some have to take certain things, like you mentioned, fish oil. My father's 80 years old. For years, he's been taking a lot of different pills and supplements. I imagine it's helped him. But I guess that's what helps your business. Why you're adding so many, new stores in the next year.
Absolutely, it's great that so many companies are investing money into the studies and the research behind tracking actual results on these things. And when we can show someone a study and say, fish oil actually will do this, and this for you, this industry is getting to a point where it's no longer, hey, we believe it's going to do that for you. It's we know this is going to do that for you, and it really helps with confidence, and it's driving up the number of people that are willing to come into the industry.
Just on a small side note, you recommend that Marty and I take fish oil?
We do. Yes, absolutely. There's 3 products that we believe everyone should take for their entire life, and that's fish oil, multivitamins, and protein smoothies.
Wow.
Protein smoothies, okay. See that, Marty?
What about the location, Ryan? I mean, what kind of location works best for this type of franchise system?
We want to be in a very highly seen retail location. We call it A++. And I heard in your guys' previous segment about commercial landlords giving away spaces, and we haven't necessarily seen them giving them to us yet. But what we have noticed is, for a small concept, when we first went to some of the larger players in the country, they said, we've never heard of you, we don't want to do business with you. But with the recession happening and with them losing some tenants, we started getting phone calls back from some of the really big players and said, you know what, we'll give you a test. And when they tested us, we had great success, and they said, wow, this might be something that we really want to be a part of. And so now we're working with some of the larger real estate developers in the country and saying, when you put up a spot with these specific criteria, we want to get a phone call, because most likely we're coming in.
Wow.
So when a new entrepreneur or just someone, Ryan, is showing interest in your franchise, how do you describe Complete Nutrition to them, like in just a few sentences, to get them really interested in what you're offering?
You bet. It's very similar to what you guys said at the start of the show. It's it's an upscale nutritional supplement concept. There's a limited number of SKUs to limit confusion. We put a lot of emphasis on the customer experience and the consultant. And, of course, the franchisee wants to know this. We can offer a pretty profitable option for them. More profitable, we believe, than anyone else in our segment.
Can't beat that. Yeah, good.
Right. No, absolutely. How has technology played a role in your franchise, Ryan, if it has or hasn't?
You know, the best part I could say about technology, and I'm glad we recognized this in the beginning, is through our point-of-sale system. We went out and did a lot of research on our point-of-sale system, and we are just now finalizing the rollout to all the stores. And one thing we're finding is we can track our customer data quite a bit better. It helps us, we have a customer relationship manager in there, so it helps us with follow-ups. When a customer calls us and asks questions about what they have, we can look up exactly what they've purchased, how they're supposed to be taking it, when they came in. So I guess technology for us has been through our point of sale, has been the most dynamic piece.
That's great. And how about the industry, Ryan? This industry, it seems like it continues to grow. Are there any hard numbers as far as how big the industry actually is?
The last study that we received said the industry is about $26 billion, and that does not include the grocery side of things, and it's growing 5 to 7% a year, and that really hasn't slowed down through the recession. Wow. So it's like a haircut; it's not going away.
Right. It's amazing.
I guess in the first segment, and over the years, obviously the aging baby boomers is definitely has to help this business. I mean, what's your average age of people buying supplements and vitamins? I imagine the more people over 40, over 50, the better it is for your business.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up too, because that's really the type of customer we're focusing on. There was an old stereotype of the nutritional supplement industry, and that was for males 18 to 25 looking to put on muscle, and there's a lot of people competing for that consumer, and they're not necessarily the loyal consumers. We're really looking for the males and females around that age segment that you just mentioned, and we want to make sure that we give them an experience and the results they're looking for to make sure that they stay loyal to us, because there's definitely an experience that happens in our stores that you're not going to get on a website, and from what we can tell is lacking in some of our competitors' locations as well.
Good. That's great. Right, we have to take a quick break. Can you stick around for another segment?
You bet.
We'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
Franchise Interviews. For over 2 years now, Franchise Interviews has been giving you an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship.
Through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising.
And our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisors, franchisees, franchise authors, experts, and attorneys.
And our free franchise newsletter, which is a must-read for anyone looking to buy a franchise.
And don't forget to listen to our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919.
That's 610-905-2919. Are you one of those special people who are willing to go after your dreams and goals? Are you ready to fulfill that dream of owning your own business with the security of a proven brand? The opportunity to take control of your future and own a Rita's Italian Ice franchise is within your reach.
Rita's is seeking success-oriented individuals who are ready to make a change in their life, and Rita's offers unparalleled training and support to assure your success. And did you know the frozen treat industry is a recession-proof industry, and there are Rita's in 23 states currently with 540 stores open. Rita's Italian Ice has been around for 25 years and is listed as a top-performing franchise by the Wall Street Journal.
Now here's the really good part. Rita's Italian Ice is a unique and amazing taste treat. It's smoother than a snow cone, and it combines ice with real fresh fruit. The real fruit adds dramatically to the taste, and it comes in over 40 flavors. The ice and fruit are mixed on site and made fresh daily, and it is delicious.
You'll want to know more about this exciting and successful franchise opportunity. Go to www.ownaritas.com and get all your questions answered. That's www.ownaritas.com to take control of your dreams and future today. You don't want to wait any longer to be a part of this adventure. www.ownaritas.com.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Franchise Interviews, where we're asking the franchipreneur who owns one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, with my co-host, Don Johnson. And if you've ever dreamed of owning your own business, then you've come to the right place. And as we were saying earlier, we have a great show today. We're meeting with Ryan Zink, the president of Complete Nutrition. And founded in 2004, Complete Nutrition is an upscale nutritional supplement store that features weight loss and sports nutrition products in a spacious, open, and orderly setting. And Don, I think you're up.
Yeah, Ryan, what's been the most surprising thing that's happened since really launching Complete Nutrition?
Surprising. I would say that our first store in California was a surprise to us. California is a state that's got quite a lot of regulations compared to the rest of the country.
Right.
Our store was actually open for 2 hours, and then it got shut down by the county there. They came in, and one thing that we learned about California is they consider nutritional supplements a food. So our franchisee out there was actually shut down for 2 months while he was putting in new flooring, new sinks, new faucets, everything that a regular restaurant would have to have. So that was definitely interesting and a learning experience for us.
Are all the stores around the same size, or is that going to be custom depending on that area of that town or city that they're in?
Right now, the business model is that they're all the same size. We're typically looking for about 1,200 to 1,500 square feet, and like we said earlier, in a very visible retail location.
Right. So, you have some pretty good growth so far. I'm pretty impressed with the number of people signed on and how many you want to have open over the next year and a half. Are there going to be any specific characteristics that you're going to look for, Ryan, and a franchisee? You want them to have prior business or retail experience? You want them to have sales experience? What are you mainly looking for?
Business experience is a plus, sure, but it's not a requirement on our part. We're looking for a couple things. One, we love people to show the passion about the industry that we do. There's two things that we really are here, and it's very entrepreneurial and it's very passionate about actual results that we provide to the customer. When a franchisee comes in, we typically want somebody that is outgoing, that's a great communicator, that has a little bit of experience, at least a little bit of experience in the actual health and fitness industry. We can teach the rest. We can teach them about products. We can teach them how to be a great consultant. But we really need someone that is comfortable with customers, and we call them a chameleon. We want somebody that they can talk to an 18-year-old male just as easily as a 65-year-old male or female. We need someone that can relate with all types of customers, and we also want our franchisee, if at all possible, to actually be on location. We love owner-operators because we really believe there's a different type of customer experience when someone has a vested interest in that location.
Seems like it's a pretty low overhead type of business. You only need really probably a couple people at most at the store at one time. Is that true?
You bet. Our locations, mall locations, sometimes we'll get up to 4 employees, but typically we're at 2 to 3 employees per location, and the investment is low. Depending on your build-out cost, you're going to look anywhere from about $130,000 to $200,000, and we've actually had a couple financing, a couple banks, local banks here that have done the original financing on our franchisees come to us and say, hey, we'd love to be a preferred lender of yours because we believe in this business model, and our franchisees have been paying back those loans pretty quickly.
Good. You don't really hear that too much.
Right.
That's the industry I'm in, Ryan, so it's good to hear that lenders coming to you.
Yes, it's made things easier. The original ones were a little tougher when we didn't have anything but our own financials to show the banks.
Right. What's the training like for new franchisees, Ryan? How does that work?
It's been great, actually. The numbers that I said with 20 locations open already this year. And actually, of those 15 that were open last year, I think 7 of them were open in the fourth quarter. So of our 35 stores today, 25 of them have been open, between 6 and 8 months, and our averages through the first quarter per location more than triple. The franchisor that Corey was part of previously per location. Mm-hmm. So, and one thing that we do corporately is we try to give the best wholesale cost we can to our franchisees. That allows them to make the margin they need, but still be very competitive on price. And when they can make those margins, it allows them to hire the right types of people that we need in the stores to be consultants to those consumers.
Interesting. What's a typical day like for a franchisee, Ryan? I guess like certain days, like Mondays, are different from Saturdays, and how would you describe a typical day, if there is such a thing?
You bet. Monday and Saturday is probably very similar, actually. Well, I'll tell you what I hope is going on with our franchisees is they show up at the store about an hour early. We're typically going to be open about 10 to 9 on a weekday. They'll get in there. They'll set the store up. They'll usually in the morning we'll make our samples. We're big believers, especially in that protein side of things, is we want everybody to try our protein because we really believe in the taste. And sometimes it has a bad protein. People believe it's going to taste chalky or thick, and we want to get rid of that connotation. So early morning we'll set up our samples. We'll make sure that the store is merchandised correctly. We'll set up our POS to make sure all of our promo codes are correct. Come around 10 o'clock is when we open the doors and the customers will start coming in. Typically, we're going to have an overlap time there in the middle of the day with a few employees, and during that time is when we like to make our consultation calls. We'll try to set follow-up calls with the customer, and we'll say, hey, we'll give you a call in 3 weeks at about 3 p.m. on this date, and during that call, we just ask them, how are the products doing for you? Are you getting the experience that you expected? If not, why? We'll talk about how to take it. We'll talk about their lifestyle, and ultimately, if things just aren't working out for them, we'll bring them back in the store, and we'll get them on something that maybe is a better fit. And then at the end of the day, we really believe in being part of the community. So those owners will go and they'll reach out to local gyms, local businesses, our HERO program, which encompasses teachers and firefighters and police, military bases. And we just like to go and network with those folks. And we try to set up a lot of samplings and seminars where we can explain to them the benefits of the products.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. In this type of business, maybe local gyms, health clubs would want to work with you. Guys, it seems like that's good synergy there. Marty, before we we might want to send an email to Ryan of our corporate address so he can get us out that box of free supplements and vitamins to us.
There you go. Get you guys going on those fish oils.
So what advice, Ryan, would you give to an aspiring entrepreneur, just in general, looking to buy a franchise? What would you tell that person, the people listening who are hearing these good things about Complete Nutrition, or just they might be early on, they're first-time business owner? What would you recommend?
I would recommend believe only the franchisee, and what I mean by that is anyone looking to be an entrepreneur, one, if it's your first business, definitely buy into a franchise for the reasons we talked about before. Right. Unless you have deep pockets, don't go make all those mistakes. Let someone else make them for you and pay a small royalty to be sure that you're going to bypass those.
Right.
But before someone buys into a franchise, my strongest recommendation is talk to franchisees and of course the management or the owners, if you can, of that franchise. But those franchisees are going to be fairly transparent for you, and I think that's your best bet to make sure that corporate's taking care of them, to make sure that they really are having the financial success that I'm sure corporate's telling you they are, and that they're happy with their business. And if you get a strong recommendation from a franchisee, well then I think that's a great indication that could be a good business for you, especially if you're passionate about the industry.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to be a certain type of person to be in a retail type location. Some people like to be outside or on the road. Could you be at I'm sure successful franchisees will own a few locations, but you have to have that right type of mindset to be in retail. So that's something else to talk in detail about, both corporate and the franchisee.
Absolutely. We actually ask new franchisees to come and spend 1 month in our corporate stores, and we want to make sure they understand exactly what it's like to be on that retail floor for an extended period of time. So, if they don't like it, they have an opportunity to back out then.
Right.
Right. What about the backgrounds of your franchisees, Ryan? I mean, do they have diverse backgrounds? I mean, what were they doing in their previous lives before they got involved?
You bet. We're just now getting to the point where we're starting to see a little bit of a diverse background for our initial franchisees because it was all organic. Everybody came from the nutritional supplement industry.
Right.
Which was nice because on an early franchise, it allowed us to concentrate on some other area, business coaching as opposed to the actual industry coaching. Now, with us getting a little larger and being on more radar screens, we're starting to get a few more business folks that are going to need to learn the nutrition side of things, and that's fine with us as well. We've really ramped up our corporate office, and we're creating lots of training classes and tools. So when that business person comes to us and says, "Hey, I'm looking to get into this, but I don't know much about the industry," we put them through a pretty rigorous program and make sure that they're up to speed to give that experience that we expect them to.
That's great. Right, we have about 60 seconds. What's the best way for our listeners to get more information on becoming a complete nutrition franchisee? Is there any websites they can go to, any numbers they can call?
You bet. They can go to CompleteNutrition.com. There's a franchising tab on there. Click that. There's some contact info and also some paperwork they can fill out, and it'll come right to us.
That's fantastic. I want to thank you again, Ryan. I think you guys have a great franchise opportunity, and Don, I would love to have you guys back next year as you guys continue to grow.
You bet. Love to be back. Thanks for having me today.
Thanks, Ryan. Great
Ryan.
job.
Have a great day.
You too.
Great concept, huh, Don?
Yeah, it's hey, I am a customer of this type of service, so I think it's very important.
Oh, it is, absolutely. It's and by the way, I do take fish oil every day, just so you know. It's
Is that right? Okay. I'm
I
going
do.
to start doing that.
It's been and it does. I feel so much better since I've been doing it. So. So they're a great opportunity. I like to, again, keep our eye on them, and I think that's what's going to happen, too, over time is as they continue to grow. I think Ryan and Complete Nutrition are going to see, like, a diverse audience, like accountants and attorneys and doctors start getting involved in this, It really is a great opportunity, so we'll keep our eye on them. So great job on segment 1 today, Don, and for our listeners, thanks for listening, and go to franchiseinterviews.com, franchisefunding.net, gofranchise.com, and I'll be speaking to you next week, Don.
Great. Have a great day.
Take care.